A digital shadow has fallen over the House of Windsor as a high-stakes extortion attempt threatens to dismantle the reputation of the monarchy's most private members. The date is late January 2026, and London is currently the epicenter of the strategic media war that has moved from the tabloids into the realm of digital espionage. Multiple high-level intelligence sources within the UK's security apparatus have confirmed that Meghan Markle has allegedly initiated a final desperate play for institutional leverage. The tactic is as modern as it is ruthless, a premeditated media threat centered around synthetic imagery designed to implicate Lady Louise Windsor and her longtime partner, art historian Felix Clamp. This isn't just a family feud. It is a calculated assault on the digital integrity of the crown. The timing of this explosion is far from accidental. It follows a disastrous financial week for the Sussex brand, occurring just 48 hours after a major global streaming giant placed Meghan's flagship documentary series on permanent ice. Citing integrity concerns, the studio's move sent shockwaves through the industry. Simultaneously, the exodus of top-tier talent from the Archewell Foundation, including the chief legal officer and lead strategist, signaled a structural collapse. Behind the scenes, but the most heartbreaking element of this saga is the toll on Lady Louise herself. Known for her quiet dedication to her studies and her discreet role within the family, Louise has reportedly been forced into a total media blackout. Sources at Bagshot Park describe her as devastated but resilient. Having deactivated all social channels and cancelled high-profile appearances, including a long-awaited engagement with the Duchess of Edinburgh, Duchess Sophie has not remained silent. In a private memo circulated to the royal household's senior advisors, she reportedly declared that the line between public discourse and psychological warfare had been permanently crossed. Sophie's stance sparked immediate action from the Iron Princess, Anne. Recognizing the threat as a form of reputational hostage-taking, Princess Anne convened a late-night summit involving the Crown's top cybersecurity experts and forensic analysts. Meanwhile, the Princess of Wales has stepped in as a pillar of emotional and strategic support, coordinating a three-pronged institutional response with Anne and Sophie. This united front represents a maternal and political force, the likes of which the Sussexes have never truly encountered. According to exclusive briefings, the ultimatum was delivered via an encrypted communication on January 23rd. Directed to Princess Anne's security liaison, contained a clear and chilling demand: restore Meghan's VIP security status, reinstate her royal patronages, and issue a public correction of defamatory narratives, or face the release of Project Oak Ridge. This project reportedly consists of unreleased footage featuring Lady Louise and Felix Clamp in what appears to be a compromising situation. However, royal forensic teams have already identified the material as a Level 3 deepfake, a synthetic video created with high-end AI to mimic reality perfectly. The threat gained a public dimension when leaked audio from a recent US podcast interview began circulating. In the clip, Meghan's voice is calm but pointed as she suggests that young women behind palace walls have been shielded for too long while others were sacrificed. She is using a digital knife to carve out a new narrative for her own survival. The reaction was immediate. Within hours, the digital world rallied behind the hashtag #ProtectLouise. Royal commentators are calling this the most dangerous media operation ever attempted by the California-based couple. Security analysts note that the Sussexes are currently facing a staggering debt of over $94 million in unpaid security invoices boxed into a financial corner. The use of reputational explosives appears to be the only leverage left. King Charles III, receiving the intelligence dispatch at Balmoral, was reportedly clinical in his assessment. He did not view this as a personal matter between his son and his niece, but as institutional sabotage. He immediately authorized the reactivation of the Emerald Shield, a legacy protocol designed to neutralize reputational threats using every legal and technological tool at the Crown's disposal. This involves a total image takedown strategy, cross-jurisdictional litigation, and the deployment of counter-narrative assets. Prince William has been tasked with the surgical protection of the younger royals, making it clear that if Louise is touched, all bridges are burned forever. Behind the scenes, the palace has begun a quiet but firm outreach to corporate giants like Netflix and Spotify. Trust and safety divisions are being briefed on the synthetic nature of the upcoming Sussex content. At least 3 major U.S. sponsors have already placed their partnerships with Meghan on hold, citing the extreme volatility of the situation. As the sun set over Windsor, the royal family prepared for a summit in the Crimson Room. Charles's directive was simple. Sophie will lead. Her daughter is under attack. The atmosphere was one of controlled fury. Sophie stood before the council and made it clear that this was not about PR. It was about the safety of her child. Is the Crown prepared for a long-term digital war? The evidence suggests they are far ahead of the curve. The MI5 Threat Evaluation Unit has already traced the origin of the fake video to a defunct subcontractor with past ties to Archewell. Princess Anne has reportedly ordered a full forensic audit of every digital asset linked to the Sussex media arm. The message to Los Angeles is undeniable. The era of royal silence is over. The firewall is active, and the counterstrike has only just begun. As the first segment of this saga concludes, the world watches to see if the Duchess will retreat or double down on a gamble that could cost her everything. As the royal summit inside the Crimson Room intensified, the strategy shifted from defense to a high-speed technological counteroffensive. Segment 2 of this unprecedented conflict reveals how the Windsor firewall began to dismantle the Sussex narrative pixel by pixel. Princess Anne, leading the cyber integrity team, moved with the precision of a military commander. She wasn't interested in public sympathy. She was interested in forensic certainty. The target of the deepfake, Felix Clamp, is a discreet art history graduate with a spotless record. To smear him was to strike at the very heart of Lady Louise's private world. The metadata within the leaked Project Oak Ridge files became the Crown's greatest weapon. While the video purported to show Felix in a Berlin basement bar in late 2025, the Royal Media Integrity Office discovered something far different. Using deepfake 3-inches detection software, they found frame duplication and pixel patterning consistent with synthetic composite editing. More importantly, Felix's own digital footprint, tracked via his high-end wearable technology and Cambridge GPS data, placed him hundreds of miles away from Berlin on the night in question. This wasn't just a rumor, it was a provable lie. Princess Catherine, working as the communications lead, began a subtle interception of the online narrative. Instead of a loud denial, she commissioned a media audit to trace exactly who authorized the leak of the teaser clips to the podcast's distribution arm. A private security firm specializing in digital infiltration was contracted to map the server origins. Simultaneously, Princess Anne's legal team filed preliminary injunctions with the High Court's Privacy Division. They weren't just suing for libel, they were suing for digital security violations. The Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, proposed a triple-layered containment plan that has since been dubbed the Windsor Firewall. First, the preemptive legal block on all major streaming platforms. Second, a dignity drop, a series of public appearances, designed to project calm and unity. Third, the Felix 7 Inches dossier, a collection of technical proofs sent to every major press watchdog and regulator in the UK and the US. In the age of AI, the only defense against a lie is a mountain of verifiable data. As the legal letters reached Los Angeles, the Sussex PR machine scrambled. A planned sympathy campaign featuring soft-focus family photos was quickly drafted, but it failed to gain traction. The public was no longer looking at the Sussexes as victims. They were looking at them as aggressors. A leaked email from a major tech platform revealed that staff were urging a full pause on any content involving the royal family until the legal vetting was complete. The phrase "fabricated sexual misconduct" had sent the corporate world into a panic. Why has Meghan refused to back down, despite the mounting evidence? The answer lies in a clawback clause found in her latest production contract. If she fails to deliver a personal narrative reform series by mid-March, she is contractually obligated to return a nearly $4 million advance money that sources say has already been spent. She is trapped in a financial vice, forced to produce drama to keep her brand afloat. However, the palace's response has made that drama legally radioactive by the morning of January 26th. The royal family moved into the second phase, public reclamation. Lady Louise, flanked by her mother and the Princess of Wales, made a surprise visit to a children's hospital in Oxford. Dressed in a symbolic soft blue coat, Louise's presence was a masterclass in royal decorum. She didn't speak of the scandal, she spoke to the children. The images of the three royal women standing together flooded social media, effectively drowning out the leaked podcast snippets. The narrative had shifted from blackmail to resilience. Yet, the digital war continued to rage. Over 70,000 pieces of user-generated content were created in support of Louise, even creators who had previously been neutral. A viral post by a leading digital analyst noted that this was a coordinated interception of a narrative, suggesting that the palace had finally learned how to win the war of the algorithms. Inside Buckingham Palace, Sir Jonathan Wexford issued a final cease and desist that contained a chain of custody analysis of the altered video. It was a legal checkmate. It invited the Sussex legal team to either settle privately and retract the footage, or face a global defamation trial that would involve the testimony of GCHQ forensic experts. Meghan's internal Slack channels reportedly reflected a shift toward damage control. But the damage to her corporate alliances was already done. The segment ends with a rare joint legal notification co-signed by three major firms. It stated that any broadcast of manipulated content involving Lady Louise or Felix Clamp would trigger the revised Royal Defamation Act of 2024. This wasn't just a threat, it was a fortress. The Crown had moved from silence to surgical strike, and the world was beginning to see the cracks in the Sussex strategy. Would the podcast air, or would the streaming giants blink first? The third and final segment of this royal saga begins with a moment of unprecedented tension. Despite the mounting legal pressure and the forensic exposure of the deepfake, the Sussex podcast episode titled Royal Truths was released early. It was a gamble of burn-it-all proportions. Running nearly an hour, the episode was marketed as a brave look at institutional silence, but the public reaction was far from what was intended. At the 36-minute mark, the coded attack on Lady Louise reached its peak. Meghan's voice, modulated and calm, spoke of unseen truths and complicity. Within 20 minutes of the upload, the palace moved, no longer acting through intermediaries. The Crown launched a digital strike back that would redefine royal communications. The hashtag exploitative podcast topped the charts as royal lawyers filed an emergency block with European regulators. But the real blow came from the people. The episode was ratioed on every platform, receiving thousands of dislikes and comments calling out the digital blackmail of a 22-year-old student. Then came the moment that will be studied by historians for decades. Princess Anne and Princess Catherine appeared together in a joint video address filmed at Windsor Castle. Standing shoulder to shoulder, they delivered a rebuke that was firm as steel and cold as ice. Anne spoke of the duty to protect the integrity of the young, while Catherine declared that Lady Louise was not a pawn in anyone's redemption arc. It was a maternal and institutional defense that signaled the end of the never complain, never explain era. Dignity is not a mask you wear. It is the truth you live when the world tries to silence you. Duchess Sophie followed this with an emotional but resolute interview on national television. Speaking not as a royal, but as a mother, she drew a line in the sand between media freedom and personal cruelty. She confirmed that Louise had seen the content and was hurt but not shaken. Sophie's final line of the interview, "You become a royal by defending one," became an instant global catchphrase. The final nail in the coffin was the release of the Brussels forensic report, conducted by an independent third-party lab. The analysis confirmed the Felix Clamp video was a 99.2% match for a deepfake. The metadata proved it had been created just 3 days before the initial ultimatum was sent to Princess Anne. It was no longer a matter of opinion. It was a matter of criminal evidence. The report concluded that the material was engineered, slander. As the Sussex brand faced a total corporate retreat, Lady Louise Windsor did something unexpected. Instead of hiding, she stepped into the spotlight. Delivering a keynote speech at the Royal College of St. George, she spoke on the ethics of identity in the age of AI. Her poise and intellect won over the world. The room erupted in a standing ovation, and international headlines transitioned from scandal to the making of a royal. Louise had not just survived the attack, she had used it as a platform to define her own future. By March 6th, the streaming giant issued a partial retraction, The podcast episode was edited, a legal disclaimer was added, and the defamatory inferences were removed. Insiders report that Meghan was furious, but legally powerless, bound by the very clauses she had hoped to exploit. Her risk profile had changed overnight from a celebrity royal to a legal liability. Corporate sponsors continued to flee, leaving the Sussexes in a state of financial and reputational isolation. The crown, however, emerged transformed. The Windsor firewall had proven that the monarchy could fight and win in the digital age. Lady Louise was granted her first full-time royal patronage, focusing on youth media, ethics, and cybersecurity. Felix Clamp was fully exonerated and joined her in a new initiative to protect young people from digital defamation. The Emerald Shield Protocol was codified as a permanent part of the palace's defense strategy. King Charles III, in a final, private briefing, purportedly expressed his pride in the united front of Anne, Catherine, and Sophie. He noted that the institution had shown it could be both a fortress and a family. The Sussexes remained in California, their bridge to the UK not just burned, but dismantled, and the ashes scattered. The reputational explosives they tried to use had detonated in their own hands. As we conclude, we see a monarchy that is no longer afraid of the digital frontier. They have learned that truth, when backed by forensic data and family unity, is the ultimate defense. Please like the video to support high retention, investigative storytelling, and subscribe for more deep dives into the strategies of the world's most powerful institutions. The story of Lady Louise Windsor is a testament to the fact that while names can be whispered about, true character is what speaks when the world is watching.